Plaintiff Jackie Weaver says before her daughter married the defendant, Jackie begged her not to go through with it, but she refused to listen. Jackie claims she has proof that the defendant is cheating on her daughter, and she's hoping her daughter will leave him today. Jackie's suing her son-in-law today for 2 loans. Defendant Wayne Barton and his wife Kathy say Jackie was so desperate to keep them from getting married that she actually took Kathy's engagement ring off of her finger and refused to give it back. Wayne admits that he and Kathy have had some issues, but insists they've worked through them. And he denies owing Jackie for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I met Wayne when my daughter brought him over and introduced us together. They were friends, and eventually they got serious and they came over and we got to meet him and get to know him a little better. He told me how much.
This is Wayne. He needs money. That's what you probably did.
Must have been. He owes for loans.
I'll get to that, sir. And he talked about he had a good job, made good money. He loved my daughter. All he could do was think about her. He was in the process of a divorce. She was in the process of a divorce. She hadn't seen much of her son. She was really not in a good place. He seemed to bring the good out of her, which made me happy. I was leery because he seemed obsessed with her. That was, maybe just an overprotective mom. But anyway, Your Honor, we got to know him and they were going to get married. And I told Kathy, please don't marry him.
Why?
There was something about him that just didn't seem to click. And I just said, please don't marry him. And they were going to get married. Everything was going to be great. And I said, well, I can't come to the wedding because if anybody up there says, do you have any reason why they shouldn't be married? I would say, yes, sir, he's a pathological liar. He's a con artist, and he's just not a nice guy.
Okay, so those are the reasons you told her not to marry him, obviously.
Yes, sir. And then she got married.
Hold on, and what did she say when you said your husband or your fiance is a con artist and a pathological liar? What did she say?
I'm an overprotective mother.
Okay, let me hear from her, ma'am. As your mother's talking about you at this point, then we'll get back to her case against your husband.
Well, yeah, I met Wayne. We met him and his ex-wife. We were all friends. We used to go out together, me and my boyfriend at the time. I knew about him and his wife, and they talked about starting a family. I actually helped them adopt a child. So there's a lot of history with us. Mm-hmm. There's been some here and there that didn't quite add up, but of course I'm like, okay, everybody has little fibs they tell.
Before marrying him?
Mm-hmm. Before marrying him. And
pathological liar and con artist, would they fit under either of those categories?
At the time they didn't, but I think as time grew on, it was like, oh, well, maybe in his mind he just thinks that this is true.
Okay.
Or he just
delusional.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I'd say delusional, but yeah.
And your mom told you not to marry him or begged you not to marry him?
Yes.
And she gave you those reasons, said he's a liar and a con artist?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Let me allow him to give some background. Sir?
Your Honor, there's quite some stories. We did start dating in 2013, January. We moved in together March of that year. We got engaged in December of 2015.
Let me stop you. So far, is all this true?
Yeah, I guess.
You know when he's lying or not. I don't know when he's lying yet.
He's omitting a lot, okay? There's a lot of omission in this, but that basically... So far, he's doing all right.
Go ahead. She say you're telling the truth, so go ahead.
2016, we were planning our wedding, and I did find out that she did take my wife's engagement ring and was holding it, saying that she was going to keep it to keep her from making the worst mistake of her life.
She took the engagement ring.
That's correct. That's correct.
Off her finger.
That's correct. And then we got married, Your Honor, in July. We have a nice home, a nice car, 3 timeshares. I do make good money. My wife makes good money. And we have a good life together. And most of all, I love my wife. So I'm not really quite sure what my mother-in-law is talking about. Perhaps she has been possessed by a demon. I'm not really sure.
Yes, sir.
Because my wife will tell you that she feels like her mom is crazy. And you can certainly ask her so.
Yes, sir.
You are?
When it comes to this, yes, sir.
Okay.
And
She admits it.
AshleyMadison.com, sir.
All right.
Kathy, here's proof he's cheating on you. This Ashley Madison website, his wedding picture is on his profile.
Let me see.
Your Honor. Now, come over here where you belong.
Man, you terrible, though. Why are you interfering with their marriage like this? Seriously, this is the worst type of interference, ma'am.
No, he's interfering with my daughter's happiness. This is going to kill her.
Are you unhappy, ma'am?
With the recent items that I have discovered, yes, sir. I did not know that he would do this to me. I do everything for him.
Cheating? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
So you knew of this already?
I found it 2 days after I had a cyst removed out of my hand. And there's messages where he had sent people while I was in recovery.
You discussed it with him yet?
Yes, sir.
And you've gotten past it?
We did, and then I found more messages recently from different sites. On Backpage.com, Craigslist.
Backpage? That's looking for prostitutes.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Are you really standing by your man?
Time for her to realize what's going on and leaving. Come home, Kathy.
Your Honor, may I address that?
No, that's mom and daughter talking right now.
Kathy, come home.
I plan on it, Mom.
You say what? You plan
I
on
plan
it?
Yes.
This is a different twist.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
it's one thing to lie to me and to hurt me, but to constantly lie to my mother and to betray your word for her, I can't handle that. He promised my mother he would take care of me and never hurt me.
You want to stand over there or not? You don't have to.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
The show has been on there 19 years, never seen anything like this before. Sir, do you want to say anything before I let her get back to the loan?
First of all, Your Honor, I have not cheated on my wife. I'd be glad to take a polygraph. I've also said that I would do so. However, my mother-in-law has a problem herself. She has been contacting her ex-husband for years and talking to him back and forth.
Is that your current husband?
Using my...
I'm not married. I have been contacting my daughter's father. He is as worried about her as I am.
No, that's not totally true. That's not the premise
Again,
of
Your
what's
Honor,
going
I proved
on.
my point.
Not proving the point, it's a fact. You can ask my wife. Because my wife and I have discussed everything and had worked through all of this.
Let's move on to the loans, ma'am.
When he got with Kathy, which I have witnesses to that fact, I told him, I said, she has debts and she has to work to pay her debts. And he says, I'm going to pay her debts. He said that more times in my living room than I cooked meals in my kitchen. And I mean, seriously, Your Honor, I told him, I said, biggest thing is, of course, I paid $3,000 for her not to go to jail for back child support, and then another $2,500 so she didn't go to jail for back child support. Again, he promised me they
Who
were.
does she have to pay child support to?
She has a son by her marriage, and when she left, she couldn't take him, so they automatically gave him to his dad. But he swore to me in front of my witness, in front of her, from the beginning of their relationship in 2012.
They weren't married?
Not then. Then when they got engaged, he was going to pay her debts, which at that time had accumulated more.
What about after marrying her?
I have not spoken to the man, and I want nothing whatsoever to do with the man.
So he never committed to repaying you after they were married?
No, but he told her. I mean, that's for her to testify, not me.
Yes, ma'am.
I was actually making payments. We had separated for a short time. I was making payments, $50 payments every 2 weeks to my mom and $50 payments every 2 weeks to Julie.
Why'd you wait so long, ma'am?
Because I felt like it had gotten to a point where I couldn't trust the man for nothing. When this came forward, I realized everything I had felt was right. And for the first time, maybe she'll listen to me. And I could prove to her that he's not the man she thought he was. And I can't trust him to pay the debts he promised and stood there in my living room. I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to love her. He sounds more obsessed than anybody I've ever seen. And yet here he goes arranging to cheat on her and deciding, oh, she asked for the money. I didn't, even though he promised me he'd pay it to me.
Sir, let me hear from you.
Your Honor, the debts that she's talking about was loaned to Kathy for child support. It was done prior, actually the first one before I even knew Kathy. The second one, we were simply acquaintances at the time. Also, my mother-in-law is bringing this against me. She never paid for debts for Kathy. Her boyfriend did. So the money never came from her mother to begin with. So she has no precedent for us bringing anything towards me because she never loaned her the money.
See, the nexus isn't there. Nexus being the connection, the legal connections. In other words, if she owed $5,000 before they were married, he doesn't have anything to do with that debt once they're married. He doesn't owe a dime. If they borrow money while married, it's marital debt. Both of them owe. In this case, the debt was before they were married. So all I'm left to determine is whether he agreed to pay you after they were married. And you're telling me you didn't speak with him after the marriage. He says he didn't speak with you. So we're clear on there not being an agreement directly between the two of you. You say the agreement came, your daughter told you that there was an agreement. That's not enough nexus, legal connection. It has to be more direct than that, and I'm not hearing that. So the good news is you got what you wanted that was more important to you.
I got my daughter.
There you go. That's what you've been fighting for, and that's what you get. So go ahead and write the debt off. Good luck to you. Your claim is dismissed, though. Have a good day.
Just that I love her very much and that her mother is just devious and causing trouble in our marriage.
I found stuff on your phone yesterday. I found you emailing somebody on Craigslist yesterday while we were in Chicago.
Emailing anybody.
Okay, I took pictures of that too.
Apparently his word, he gave it to me before they were married. And it's still the same today as it was then. Not worth a dime.